My spouse is in a nursing home and I need help paying for care. What will I have to live on if my spouse gets Medicaid?
That's a question we get all the time. And first of all, I want you to know that even if your spouse is already in the nursing home, it's not too late. We can still help. So there's still things we can do legally to protect assets. So as far as what you can live on, let's look at the income part first. In Ohio, Medicaid says they go by the check on the rule, which means if my spouse is in the nursing home, they're probably going to take all of my spouse's income like a copay, at least most of that income. My own income, I get to keep, so they don't touch my income. Now for assets, they have a different rule, and they break your assets up into two categories: exempt, so those are things that don't count, and everything else, the countable assets. For a married couple, the house is typically exempt, the most valuable car is exempt, and the household furnishings are typically exempt. I say typically. You can lose that exemption by having your house, your car, and things that are otherwise exempt by having them in a revocable trust. So again, while we like to use revocable trust to avoid probate, we also have to realize that having certain assets owned by the trust can cause them to lose their exemption. And we just received a painful, discouraging ruling by the Ohio Supreme Court that stated that those assets because we've been fighting this with Medicaid, but the Ohio Supreme Court said if they're in an exempt assets and revocable trust, they lose their exemption and you can't pop them out of the trust and fix it. So it's something we have to start earlier before we file the Medicaid application. So let's forget the trust for a second, and let's just assume we have no trust, or we have a trust, but the assets are titled the right way. So the house is exempt, car is exempt, household stuff's exempt. Everything else, Medicaid counts, lumps husband and wife's assets together, divides it by 1/2. The spouse is not in the nursing home, gets to keep 1/2. Unless their 1/2's more than currently about $119,000, then Medicaid says anything above that, if their half's above $119,000, Medicaid says that's an excess resource and you have to spend down more than 1/2. And I've never met an excess resource. I don't know what they look like. My clients don't know what they look like, but the government says they exist, and they make the spend down a lot uglier if you have more assets. We can still help you protect them, but understand the government's going to come after more.